CRMs are great, but building out snapshots is so hard and time consuming, or at least it was. XALON AI is pleased to announce that it just released the Pulse Bot, the first CRM feature in the world that will build out your snapshot for you. You answer a questionnaire and then you get results, and we're going to go over them now. Hey, and welcome to the demonstration of XALON AI's new feature, Pulse Snapshot Builder. This is the first CRM in the world that will let you actually put in your business information and it creates the snapshot for you so that you have 100% efficiency. So let's dive right in. I'm going to be walking you through what the snapshot looks like, what you will receive back from Pulse when you set up an account, and how to do some of the things. So this first page is the must-dos. These are not really part of your snapshot. These are things that you want to ensure that you do so that your XALON account can run at full speed. First is setting up the domain, and that's just verifying your domain. It's really easy. It takes a couple seconds. Second is we're going to go and set up your payments. So when we go to the payments tab, if you widen out the page like I do here, you'll see we have an integrations tab, and we can set up any of the payment providers that we currently use. If you don't see them off the top, then go ahead and search for more, and these are all additional native integrations that we have put together for you. The next is the calendar and scheduling. So we're going to go over to the calendar tab, and although you'd think we'd be able to do everything here, this is more of the viewing tab or setting bookings. So if we want to actually do something on it, we're going to have to go to the calendar settings tab, which is either at the bottom under settings or up in the top of the calendars tab. And one thing to note is when you're doing the calendars round robin, we'll let you have multiple hosts or a calendar conflict, whereas the one-on-one is just one host. So it's only going to be a calendar conflict on the one host, which means there are going to be less availabilities. One thing that's wise for you to note is that you want your meeting location per host or employee to be the video link or the address link that you want it to be. Otherwise, it's going to pop up and it'll book it, but you won't have a meeting link there. So when you go in, you want to hit Edit Calendar and go down to where it has the host. So I have Lauren Topping here. Then I would just switch it from custom to whatever I have integrated on my personal accounts integrations. So Google Meet for you or for me. The next is that we are going to do the email setup. So this is really important. You want to verify your email domain. It only takes a few minutes, but it's one of those things where if you don't do it, then you're going to find that you're unable to send emails and not be in the spam folder. Also, I glossed over because it's not for everybody, but you also want to set up your SMS and DNS connections so that you can send them texts if you want to. The next part really starts the core config of your snapshot, and then the last piece tells you about your staff and how to set those up. And really what that's saying is just remember to have each of your staff members integrate whatever meeting video link that they're going to do and then set it as their custom meeting location. Otherwise, you're going to find that you've missed a few meetings. So now getting to the real juice of it, let's go to the snapshot. So it's telling you what to do here, and this first one is how to set up your opportunity pipeline. So I do the opportunity pipeline in entirety here. I'm going to delete the two pipelines that are on there that were natively placed, and that's the marketing pipeline because they don't apply to this industry. Instead, we're going to add in these pipeline points just as it said here. So to do that, I am going to open this sheet up, and you will see that as I refresh after deleting the old pipelines, I can now hit create a new pipeline. I'm going to put the name in. Maybe in this case, the sub-account's name is the Chattanooga Chamber of Commerce. So I'll put Chattanooga or Chamber of Commerce. And then I'm going to go down and just name these stages as Pulse has told me to. This may not seem important, but why we're doing this is because we want to set up kind of guided transaction stages so that we can assign either different features or different team members based on those transaction stages. When you do that, you're going to see it in the opportunities pipeline pop up right here, and then you're also going to see it whenever you go to your dashboard. This is where you'll see how these deals have transferred through the stages. It's really helpful once you actually see it in action. So after that, and that's the stage distribution that we'd set up through the automations. After that, we're going to go to the contact tags. This is one of the most important pieces. And the way we set it up is by checking one of the contacts, clicking add tags, and then going down to the tags, and let's just copy and paste the first part of each one of those. So I actually do all of the first member tier tags here, and I don't do the rest. So the owner of the sub account will have to go in and do that. But basically what you're doing is you're setting all of the different things that we could classify certain users as. And once you've done it, then it puts you in place so that you can actually plug resources and automations around those tags. And that's the basis of it. So you can hit cancel once they're added, and you'll now see that they are still there. You don't have to actually add those tags to the contact. Uncheck them and then go through and do the rest of these. The next piece is the forms. Forms is really cool because you can add payments, you can add questions, you can get all this data you want. I like to start from scratch. And what I do is I'm going to name it exactly what it told me to name it so that I can keep these things organized and ensure that I have 100% of it covered. It's going to tell you what to put as the CTA, as the body, as the headline text, and then what the purpose of it is. So the main purpose of this is for us to see what membership tier these people are going to join, and then we can have conditional logic bringing up the payment pages or anything else that we want thereafter. We're also gonna, here's where we're throwing in the text boxes, and let's throw in an image as well so that we can get that headline. Banner image. I did not have this sub account's logo saved off the top of my head, so you will see that I update that in just a moment. But here's me adding the headline and the body messages, and then I run over on a different screen and grab the logo quickly of this particular sub account so that you can then see I have uploaded it and it looks pretty legitimate. So you have full flexibility to work with the text and other resources in this box as much as you want, but as we go through, I tossed in a purchase of products for you. I'm going to show you the preview. It looks pretty legitimate. And then if we want to integrate, there's the embed and the form links. So that's the first form. And then let's go down to the email templates. When we make these email templates, these are really important because this is a lot of what gets you kicked off on both compliance of current members and then sales of new membership positions. I create a folder. I'm going to put chamber, drip email folder. So when I create that, inside of that folder, I'm going to create all of the emails that PulseBot has told me to make, and I do it through the design editor, drag and drop on the first one, and then I can just clone those and change the text thereafter. So as you see, it gives me all of the information that I should be putting on these emails, and then you can have a human go over and add any creatives or things that they might want. This is me adding it as a logo. Oh, it looks bad, so I'm going to change it to an image just like we did last time. There we go. Let's throw in the button link, and then we always want the footer on the bottom because that has our legally required unsubscribe provisions and all of our contact info. Once we're done with that, this is the fun part. This is the automation. So I'm going to create a folder and name it the same, chamber based automations. So when I create that, inside that folder, I want to go in and hit create workflow, start from scratch, and I'm going to do the very first workflow that it tells us to do. This is the new member flow. So I'm going to copy and paste that name into the name of this workflow and then add the trigger that it says to add. So we want to add a membership application approved. So when we go into the triggers, if it doesn't pop up when we type it, that doesn't mean that it's not there. We want to go down to the relevant sections that you're looking for. So as you see, opportunities, affiliates, all that good stuff. And then we'll go down to communities and access granted. So we'll hit that as the trigger. And then it says that we want to send a welcome email. Well, we're actually going to cover that already. So in this particular case, I don't want to send a double email and create a contact because we've covered that already by adding them in. But we will go to the next one, which is add contact tag. And we're going to add a tag for each of these different types of tiers. So to do that, let's add in if they function. When we type it in, this is going to let us split it off based on the conditional data set forth in that certain form or other resource. So we can see that your membership tier is option 1. And then let's make a second for option 2 and a third for option 3. And when we hit that, you'll see that we've split that off based on the conditional data, and we will add the tags for what membership tier that they are. This is basically the essence of what we're doing over and over, is we're creating these automations that are preset filters. And what Pulse here has given you is the full playbook so that you can be sure that not only have you not missed a potential leak in your ship, but you also are getting the most value out of your XALON membership. Thanks for listening.